Well, let me ask you, because you're doing, all kinds of fun stuff. Is there kind of like a master plan that I will eventually reach this milestone, and then one day I will look down from the mountain of accomplishment and I will have achieved every one of my mile markers that got me here? Or are you just doing what seems fun and what's available as it becomes available?
I mean, I am improvising my way down the road, and I've I've never known exactly what's going to be next, but it all does seem to add up looking backwards. I think I'm proud of myself that in the last 2 years, especially, I've just taken some big chances with really new things. And the older you get, it's hard. It's a little harder to do. I mean, I think about, gosh, when I first moved to LA, I was like, yeah, I'm going to audition. I know nobody. I'm going to audition for Groundlings. Yeah, let's do it, and there was a freedom in not knowing to be afraid. And the older you get, things get scarier. So I guess I'm proud of myself for doing some hard things this year or in the last few years, trying to be an author and doing all the audiobook stuff and the narrating. And yeah, it's been fun. And I just want to keep challenging myself and see where these stories that I've already started, Horse Girl and the Flying Flamingo Sisters, where they could lead and where else they could go and end up. And I feel like we're not done with either of them yet. So we'll see.
Why?
And also, just make sure I stay ahead of Andy, basically. That's going to be my pinnacle. I just want to look back and make sure I'm ahead of Andy Samberg and
right.
the end of all this.
Far ahead. And Andy Samberg weeps bitter tears every night that he can't catch up to Carrie Seim.
That's when I'll know I have succeeded.
Everyone in his life, every time he comes in, like, what's wrong, Andy? You seem, oh, we know it's Carrie Seim. We're tired of hearing it, Andy. So, to anybody that's listening to this, it might sound like Carrie Seim. She's just incredibly lucky. Just lucky things keep happening to her. She's in the right canoe at the right time, and look how it takes off. She just happens to be in Groundlings. I'm not buying it because you're doing too much for it to all be luck. How would you? I know that you can't make an exact master plan, but it can't be accidental that you're in the Groundlings. Now you're headed to New York to audition for Lorne Michaels. Now you're with Nickelodeon. Now you've been invited to Audible. So you must have a skill for putting yourself out there, for drawing attention to yourself, good attention that gets you these projects and keeps people interested in you. How, as best you can, how could those listening that want to do likewise, how could they repeat your success?
Well, again, I'll say that the through line is telling good stories and working hard on your craft. And I took a lot of classes in both in the comedy, in the Groundlings world, in terms of sketch and improv and writing classes with them. But you also, you have to work hard. You have to put in the time. You have to be a good creative partner to people. And I think that I have tried to do that. The Groundlings was a great place for me to land because it gave me a community of creative people and writers and performers who continue to help each other and support each other. And then you do have to speak up for yourself. You do have to let people know. So I vividly remember when we were doing the live Nickelodeon shows, and I'd written a lot of the sketches for a couple of years in a row, that we had to kind of follow up post-mortem with the development execs. And I said, hey, you guys, and I think maybe I didn't do it live in the meeting, but later I said to them, hey, I wrote several of these sketches that seemed to go really well. This one, and this one, because our names weren't on the program. So the writers' names weren't on the program. It was just sort of a group writing credit. And I wanted to point that out and say, hey, if you ever have any staff writing positions come up, keep me in mind. And that was a really scary step to do, but I'm really glad I did it. You your own advocate, especially before you have an agent or anyone doing it for you. And I did a lot of, gosh, so many shows in basements of like Mexican restaurants and, you know, like dingy dive bars. I spent so many years performing in those kind of shows with other improv groups, not just the Groundlings, but like spin-off groups. And you just have to hone your craft. You have to write and perform and write and perform and over and over and over, so that when those opportunities do arise, and yes, I got so lucky so many times, but that I was ready for them and I had prepared and I had like done the training to be ready for the opportunities. You have to say yes when they come. You have to be polite and grateful. I send a lot of thank you notes. I think it goes, you know, a long way. I try to be a joy to work with, which is really important. I don't know if you've ever seen this Venn diagram of like success as a freelancer, which in many ways authors are freelancers, right? So it's like there are 3 categories, and you can get 2 of the 3 in the Venn diagram to be successful. And one is does good work, turns it in on time, and is a pleasure to work with. If you can get 2 out of 3 of those, you'll probably get work. If you can get 3 out of 3, you're always going to get work. And so that's something that I tell young writers when they're starting out to keep in mind, that all 3 of those things are important. You know, the other thing is I'm always up for talking to young writers or answering questions, but I will, because I get a lot of requests, I will set up some quick little hurdles that they have to jump over, which is maybe I'll say, sure, here's my, you know, think of exactly what, you know, your question is specifically. Read this stuff that I've written about it before. If you have more questions, here's my phone number. And most young people are terrified. I'm not to generalize, but a lot of young people, and I'm talking about, you know, high school or college age, that's intimidating and they don't do it. Well, I've given you an opportunity and I've given you a hurdle. So you have to prove that you're willing to do your effort. And you also always have to present your request humbly and offer them an easy out. I know you're incredibly busy. If you can't help me or answer this question, I completely understand. So just remember to approach people with humility and kindness and politeness. And if they give you a hurdle, jump over it if you can, you know, if it's a basic thing. That's a really important skill to have if you're trying to get help. And we all need help, right? We all need help. We need people to guide us and point us. So many people have helped me. I've not just been lucky, but I've been incredibly, people have just been incredibly kind and generous. And I think we all owe that to other people to help them, and I will always do it. But you also have, and I'll say, like, you know, when I talk to a group of college students, for example, about writing, I'll say, you know, if you want to ask a writer for help, it helps if you follow their Twitter or you post about something they've done or shown interest in their work before asking them to help with your work. And you'd be shocked at how many times people will ask for help, but don't do that thing I just told them to do. And I'm not going to be rude, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but that's something when you're starting out, just to pay attention to those things. You can get help from really great people. So just to support them as well. Gosh, that was a meandering answer, Ralph.
No, I want every writer in the world that's young and ambitious to hear that answer, because the number of people, maybe once a month, once every few weeks, I get some version of the email where, hey, I've written a novel, or I'm thinking of writing a novel. Could you recommend 10 literary agents to me? Absolutely. Listen to the podcast. Check out the website. You're going to find everybody you'll ever need. Yeah. And just somewhere, and I know I did it too when I was young and dumb, just that kind of that sense of entitlement. Hey, make this easy for me. As though you could. And of course you can't.
Yeah, and so much of that also is I say to people, well, you know, you have to do so much work, but there's Google, it can help you. There are so many great books. Here are the great books to read. Here's ways to get started. But you ultimately, like, it's just, you got to do a lot of work too. And I can't do that for, you know, And I think many people want a secret, easy way to magic trick to get it, and it's just the trick is to write the book most of the time.
Yeah, I love the idea that I know the easy way, but I'm not going to do it. I'm working hard because I just feel that that will be better for me and satisfying overall. But you can have the easy way. Let me give it to you.
And we all have that magical thinking. Yeah, we want it to be easy, but that is not to say if there's someone that means something to you, no matter how famous or important they are, it's okay to reach out to them, think it through first, but dream big. If you have a goal, I always think about this in college. I was in college at Iowa State, and I heard about an internship at National Geographic Television in DC. And I told my internship coordinator or whatever, and she was very discouraging and said, I think you should really focus local and kind of dampen down your dreams. And so she encouraged me to apply to local Des Moines TV stations for internships, which I did, but I also secretly applied to National Geographic, and I just found someone else to write me a recommendation letter. And I got rejected from Des Moines, and I got accepted at National Geographic. So don't let some self-appointed, gatekeeper slow you down. If you believe in something, and I had no connections. My parents are teachers in Nebraska. That was it. I had no connections to Sundance, but I did have wonderful mentors and professors, and people who would write beautiful letters for me. And sometimes that's all it takes. And it can be a cold call, and you can get your dream position if you're willing to put in the work and you've proven yourself to other esteemed people. So yeah, I believe in dreaming big and trusting crazy ideas, but doing it with in a humble manner, with humility and gratitude. Whew!
Well, usually, and I'm watching our time, and I know we're there. I don't want to abuse your time. Usually, my last question is some version of what advice would you go back and give yourself that would make a difference to make things easy for you. I feel like we more or less covered that. Is there anything else that you would want to go back and for your young self to know, and for young writers listening to know?
I feel like we really mostly covered it, and I think that this path I couldn't have planned this path, and I wouldn't want to do anything different, because I feel every experience has helped me get to where I am and has given me this rich life to pull from to write about. And that's so important too, to have experiences, to explore different sides of yourself so that you have those to draw from in your writing. So I'm sure, oh my gosh, there's so many mistakes I made that I would probably go back and fix, but then we might be altering time and space, and who knows, Rob. So yeah, I guess just trust your crazy ideas, be polite, be very Midwestern, say please and thank you, and go for those big dreams.